All right, so welcome to our second masterclass training today, the 22nd of September, after we had our first kickoff masterclass session last week, September the 15th. And well, these masterclass trainings, 7 in total, implemented by the UTA and AUTO and supported by the Center for the Promotion of Imports from the Netherlands. So on behalf of UTA, AUTO and the CBI, a warm welcome to each one of you, and happy to have you again. So as I mentioned, last week, the first masterclass session that we had, there's still people unmuted. Please put yourself on mute so we don't have background noises. Thank you. So last week, our kickoff masterclass training, then today, the second one. And as you can see on the screen, there's still 5 to go. Next week, Simon and Anne de Jong, they will discuss, talk, present about sustainability, corporate social responsibility in tourism. Masterclass 4 and 5 are about very important nowadays because of the COVID. These masterclasses are about health and safety protocols in the tourism supply chain. And masterclasses 6 and 7, they will be about product development. So if you haven't signed up yet, then please do so by following this web link. You will have to fill the online registration form, and you will be able to join us. Good. So the title of today's masterclass training, Knowing Your Unique Selling Point, or as we abbreviate it, USP, and knowing your customer, your future customer. We're going to talk also briefly a bit about CBI market intelligence. And when we talk about unique selling points, we also need to look into how you present yourself, how you present unique selling points through your different channels. And during session 4, Simon and I, we will show to you some international best practice examples of other tour operators, how they present their unique selling points. And if unique selling points is a term that you're not familiar with yet, or you might have heard about it, but not fully sure what it all is about, then don't worry, because that will become all clear during the first session. So Simon and I, together we will be your trainers today. As Simon mentioned, the training will stop around 1 p.m. your time. So again, 3 hours of training, and all the other masterclass trainings for the next couple of weeks, they all start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they finish at 1 p.m. Your time. So every time 3 hours training for you. Okay. Nice. Yeah, so some housekeeping rules. Slides will be uploaded to the chat box, so you will receive them. What I will try to do now, let me see, if I go to the chat box, I will upload for you the slides from last week. Let me see if that works. So you also have these. So one moment, I'm working on it. Well, I will try to do this during a break because it's very slow, I see. So no, this is not working, unfortunately. All right, I will close it. Okay, so the slides from last week, I will try to upload for you during our first break. So then you have them, and the slides from today's presentation, they will upload it in the chat box at about 1 p.m. when we finish. Again, please put yourself on mute. You all have access to the chat box. There's already a lot of things going on in the chat box. That's good. If you have any questions, feel free to put your question in the chat box. My colleagues, also Simon and I, we will frequently check the chat box and filter out your questions and reply to your questions during the presentation or during the break. So also, if you would like to share something with us, specific knowledge that you have or specific things about Uganda, again, feel free to go to the chat box and put your inputs there, ask your questions. Good. So today is interactive, so please be interactive with us. So what about last week, September 15th? I see some names from last week, so good to see you again. So we have some repeat visitors here. So last week, we looked further into the European market, and we discussed about the wealthy parts of Europe, or as we call the countries that we label as the countries with high purchasing power and the countries that have a little bit lower purchasing power. So when we look at the European map, we always draw these two red call it like boundaries. And if you can see at the left side, Portugal, which has this light blue color, is an economy that is a bit, well, I don't like the word weak, but let's say weak, compared to the countries that you see in the middle, the dark blue colored countries considered as the richer countries. And then more towards the eastern part of Europe, the east side of Europe, also these countries have a bit lower purchasing power. Again, I still hear some background noises, so please put yourself on mute. Thank you very much. So your traditional markets, United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Germany, markets that you already have for many years. And you also might have some other markets from Europe. I remember that some people
Okay, to give Marlon some time just to reconnect and to keep you guys busy and interactive, I'm going to take over from him for now and just dive straight into what would have been the second session for today. So yeah, it's a really good time to talk about flexibility. As we know in the tourism industry at the moment, that's something that has become pretty much a daily occurrence. And this is a really good example, right? We've got some technical challenges. We're going to have to find a way around that. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can all hear me okay, and you can see my screen okay. If you have any issues, let me know. And as Marlon said, please make sure you mute yourself so there's not too much double sound. So I'm going to be covering a session now on what the consumer needs, or what are the consumer needs per se. We're going to keep this pretty light and interactive if we can. And I'm going to start with having a look at some of the existing, let's say, USPs that your consumers might need and want. What's interesting about this next session is this is not going to be a traditional USP session. Sorry, we've got some late people joining, so I'm multitasking here. Right, so carrying on. So what are the most important criteria for travelers right now? Can you guys take 30 seconds quickly, and in the chat box, tell me what you think in a single word is the most important criteria for travelers when they're planning to book a trip with you. So in the chat box, if you can, very quickly, tell me what you think are the most important criteria for travelers right now. Let's see what you guys come up with. All right, nice. There's some good answers coming through, all within the direction of the major talking points for tourism for the last 18 months, unfortunately. So a lot of the answers coming in the chat box: COVID, safety restrictions, COVID restrictions, health and safety, insurance, travel restrictions, safety, flexibility on cancellation for terms and negotiable rates, cost. And very good, a nice one there. Which country is easy to travel to by COVID and with price? COVID rules, COVID safety. Yeah, I mean, one of you guys can just take over the session. My job here is done. Online recommendations, yeah, really good. I think you know, to talk to the first two, safety and flexibility at the moment are critical for the consumer. And if you're operating in the B2C market space, you'll probably notice that a lot of the initial requests and queries that you're getting from people are around that. So are they protected? Are they going to be safe? And safety is now much more about COVID regulations and health than anything else in the world. Good morning, Joseph. Nice you could join us. So outside of safety, flexibility. And what has been really, really challenging for the tourism industry, as you all know, over the last 18 months, is that flexibility of being able to move bookings, change conditions, postpone travel, and that all has to happen, you know, at a really, really quick pace, under high demand, and also without costing the consumer money. Because as soon as you have hefty cancellation fees in place, it's very difficult to convert consumers right now. And now that has a huge chain effect. It's not just about the consumer, it goes all the way through the tour operators, travel agents, right down to the ground handlers, the staff on the ground. It has a huge trickle effect. And so that makes it very, very, very difficult for everyone involved, but also very important, that flexibility. And I think as an industry, we've started becoming exceptionally flexible. If we look at how we've adjusted and developed over the last 18 months, I think it's really impressive to see what has been achieved. Reliability, Priscilla, nice addition to the comments there. COVID regulations, as you guys know, especially in Uganda at the moment, those regulations change on a daily basis. It makes it really difficult from a tourism perspective. But that's the way of the world at the moment. We have to learn to work with those updated regulations and updated terms, keep people traveling and keep them safe and happy. Now, these are all really, really important. It doesn't mean that your offering has become less important. There's just more to your USPs now. There's more to your offering that you need to bring to the table, and more that the consumer is actually looking for. And the final one, which some of you touched on, is definitely around cancellations terms. This is pretty much something that everyone is now expecting. It's become the new norm, which is a little more challenging for us in the industry, but very, very important for the consumer at the moment. What happens if the regulations change? What happens if they can't travel? What happens if someone gets sick and they need to postpone their trip? So I'm glad to see that we're all on the same page, and it is unfortunately just the way it is at the moment. So you know, make sure that you've got this down pat. Make sure that as an organization or as an individual business, you know exactly where you stand on all of these aspects. Keep up to date with what's happening, not just in your own country, but in the destinations where your consumers are coming from. because that's as important, right? You need to be able to know if there are relaxed terms coming out of a core market for you, or more stringent terms. So yeah, lots more research and keeping an eye on the marketplace. But let's park that. That's all stuff we know, and it's a daily happening at the moment. And let's talk more about the specific segments that you are working with and that you're looking to work with, because it's difficult for you to create your USP, your specific offering, your differential in the market if you're not actually sure who you're talking to. And so what I'd like you to do is tell me which one of these market segments you cater for best. So we've got families, we've got sporting, we've got let's say the silver foxes, the older travelers who have retired. We've got adventuremen, we've got wildlife enthusiasts. Where is your core market, your niche market that you're offering programs to? Give me an indication in the chat box really quickly. Families, nice. Actually, what I believe some of the nicest guests to work with are families, but also some of the most challenging, because you've got that really interesting dynamic. Retired people, yeah, it's a great one. The retired market's super. Generally speaking, they've got lots of time, and they're looking to go through the different tick boxes on things they want to see and do in their lives. Family and retired, seniors, families and young people, great. Wildlife, yeah. Working class, wildlife enthusiasts, honeymooners, yeah. Great. Play on the passion and the emotion. Nature lovers. Does anyone have a religious groups? That's a nice one, Sylvia. Does anyone have a really, really specific niche market? I'm talking just birders, or wildlife photographers, or golfers, or golf is a bad example, but a specific sport. Or does everyone have a really, really broad niche that they're talking to? Okay. Birders, yeah. I mean, Uganda has a number of really, really unique selling points itself as a destination, which you'll all be aware of. Mountain climb as well is an interesting one from Barbara. And I think that's something that is important to recognize and understand. You've got some competition in the region, neighboring countries, but you've got a lot of uniqueness within your own country. And so it's really important to look at highlighting that uniqueness from your own destination before you try and effectively understand what your own USP is, and how you're going to best bring that to the target markets and the niche that you want. And once you've identified, where your niche is, you can then start to really understand what the USP is for that market, what they need and what they want. And this is a really, really important question to be able to ask yourself. So firstly, what is your target market? And secondly, sorry, I'm just multitasking again, which is loads of fun between two screens. I'm muting people and letting people in, it's great. So what is your target market? And it's really important to have a core focus, not to say that you can't have multiple markets, but it's really important for you to have strategy in place for certain market types. And that means being in tourism is not a market, right? That's not a target market. The traveler is not a target market. You have to be much more specific. And the reason you have to be much more specific is because you can't identify what those people need, what they want, if you don't know who they are. Now, I can tell you that the luxury market versus the family with children, generally speaking, have a lot of different needs and wants. Likewise, elders and seniors also have a lot of different needs and wants. What is also important is to understand what is the difference between what you need and what you want. And so let's talk a little bit about that. I've kept it relatively high level here in this breakdown. I'm just muting someone. There we go. So what do they want? You know, this is what they think. They think, well, it's all of those amazing things they've heard of, they've thought about, they've talked about with their family and friends, they've read magazine articles on, they've done research on. These are their hopes and dreams. These are things that they want, right? But what do they actually value when they're booking with you and when they go on a trip? Well, they value something completely different. These could be things like security, the practicality of their trip, the organization that comes with it. And so when you're identifying your USPs, specifically for the consumer, you really need to think about these two things. Just going to mute someone else. Go. Right, it's better. I was getting quite a lot of feedback there. So with that in mind, understanding what people want and what they value will allow you to have a better understanding and be able to identify your own unique selling points to that critical market. You're going to use families with children as a bit of a test case very quickly. What do you think that they want? Anyone got any ideas? What do you think family with children wants?
I think they want security and they want something that can make them happy.
Good, nice. Any other suggestions on what families with children want? Adventure, interesting. Depends, I suppose, on the age of the children. Children-friendly activities, fun and playing, yeah. Safety. Just gonna mute a couple more people here. Currently, I had a double screen. Hopefully, you guys can all see my screen. Okay. Animals, yeah, playing and fun activities, absolutely. So, but thinking about it more critically, yeah, that's a really good one, Rachel. Babysitting while the parents go tracking, yeah, or have dinner, or go on an experience. These are all things that families definitely want, or certainly the parents want. That's for sure. But what do they want? They want activities which have something for everyone. So something that can really bring everyone together. That means, you know, doing a little bit of everything. Easy activities for kids, a really good example. Some history, some wildlife. You know, some time for the parents to be able to relax. They also want the opportunities for their children to be able to learn lessons outside of the classroom. So it's not just about, you know, showing them a waterfall, but telling them a little bit about it, educating them on the experience that they're having. And they want to expose them to different traditions, cultures, history, and the environment. So with that in mind, it's then really important to understand, well, okay, so if that's what they want, what do they actually value? And what they're going to value from you guys is to be able to provide them with safety, with hygiene, with limited walking, maybe not too crazy accommodations, providing active learning experiences for kids, and excellent quality of guides. Now, the last one, excellent quality of guides, is a really important one, and it's something we'll touch on a little bit later, because being a guide myself, it's something I believe in passionately and wholeheartedly. Having a good guide who can interact with both parents and with children is not as easy to find as you think, and it's really, really important because it'll keep everyone happy if that guide can interact at both the level of the children and of the parents. So how do you turn all of this into USPs if you're marketing to the family travel industry? Remember, we're using family with children as the example, not to say that that's the place that you have to push all your business, but we're just using it today as an example. What does that actually look like? How do we take those learnings and information and how do we convert it into a unique selling point that we can communicate to the consumer? This is where time is well spent. And this is something which a lot of people don't actually do, is find out what your customers' wants, needs, and values are. we assume that we know what they want, need, and value, and we think that from our own experience, that's a standing point for everyone. But critical research and market intelligence is one of the most important things that you can do when you're looking at identifying your niche markets, and off your niche market, what they actually need, want, and value. So always do your research. Don't assume that you know exactly what people need and want. There are very few companies in the world that can predict what consumers want. And unless you're a market leader like Apple that decided we're going to tell the consumer what they need and want, you need to do some research. And there are a lot of places you can dive into for really good information. We are very blessed with now having huge amounts of connectivity, huge amounts of data and information and research available to us online. And so you have to take the time to dive into each one of these. Even if you think you're operating in a market segment right now, in a niche, and you think that your USPs are perfectly channeled and designed for them, take some time to do a little more market research, understand the market intelligence that's out there, and look for some really good customer insights. And there's a lot online. You'll all get a copy of these presentations, so you can go back and go through these slides and pull out the market intelligence resourcing as you need it. But as you can see here, there is a huge amount of information to be found online. And that's a really, really good place to start. So while we're in this challenging period, and you might have a little bit more time in the office than you would normally do, make sure you spend some time actually looking into that market research and market intelligence. One thing that we haven't talked about, which is very, very important for understanding your consumers, is understanding what your consumers have already told you, or understanding what other consumers are telling you. So look at customer satisfaction surveys, look at your B2B potential partners that you might be working with. Have a look at some of the smart research information that's available online, and listen to what people are telling you. So we often ask for customer feedback and reviews, and we're more worried about what it's going to do for our presence online versus what it's going to do for our market offering. We take that consumer feedback and make sure that you push it through into adjusting your own program. Now, I firmly believe that one of the best places at the moment for market intelligence coming out of Europe is the CBI itself. You can see here they've got a huge amount of information to be gained offline or to be accessed online, from niche markets to tips and tricks, different types of target groups, and also then diving into specifics around different types of niche markets. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about the wildlife tourism market, because it's a huge factor when we look at Ugandan tourism. And rightfully so, you guys have got super dynamic wildlife experiences on offer. And I think that's something that almost every traveler that comes to Uganda will want a small glimpse of. It might not be their core focus, but you might find, or you probably find that most of them want some form of nature experience, wildlife experience while they're in Uganda. And for other travelers, that'll be their sole purpose. That'll be the reason that they're actually traveling to Uganda, is to see the dynamic wildlife and the diversity that you guys have. By the way, you're very lucky to have it. So if you missed the opportunities in the European wildlife tourism market, I did a presentation, I co-presented on this a couple of months ago for the CBI, and you can find all of this information online by following this link. And there's some really good information in there when looking at the wildlife tourism industry. But to simplify the process for you, some of the biggest market research coming out of European travelers with regards to their demand at the moment, I've highlighted for you on the screen here. And a lot of this actually has an interesting sort of pushback and impact from COVID, from the period we've been in. So things like connection with nature, consciousness about sustainability, and multi-generational travel, all starting to swell out of this this period that we've been from. What is very important is well-being of wildlife, so the care for wildlife. And that means that you have to make sure that you're choosing your partners really carefully, and that you're working with the most ethical and sustainable offerings when it comes to wildlife and animals in general. And the other big thing is that the digitalization is really influencing this market now. People can find a lot of information, a lot of strong imagery, and that's pushing the market demand in a different direction, which is good for you guys. So if you want to find out more, you can follow the link that's in the slides. As I said, we'll make sure that you get a copy of this so you don't have to worry about quickly trying to write down anything and everything while I'm talking. What is the current demand from Europe? And let's go back to that three-step process, the need and the want and the value of what European demand might look like. The three-step approach to the direct markets at the moment should be around this. So what do they need? And we talked about their current needs at the moment. They need that flexibility, confidence to book with you, security. I see I made a really good spelling mistake there. Apologies for that. Oh. And someone's turned their microphone on, so I'm just going to sort that out because I'm getting very bad. A couple of people with microphones on. Right, there we go. Thank you. Otherwise, I get very bad sound in my microphone and my ears. Right, so they need that confidence to book and the security. And what do they want? They want an easy booking process. They want good contact with you as a potential partner, and they want those unique experiences. And what are they valuing right now? They're valuing sustainable experiences, something that is there for the long term, that has positive impact in the area, on the people, on the wildlife. They want really great guides because they realize that that brings a whole new dimension to the experience. And they want to make sure that wherever they're going or whatever they're doing, they that it's being done in the most ethical sense, so that animal welfare remains really important. So how do we translate that into demand? Well, it's quite simple. If we go back to the three-step process and we now convert it to what are the terms of your booking? How do you create it? What are your consumers actually looking for? They're looking for flexibility. They are looking for that confidence to book, and they're looking for security. Those now become your terms, how you convert your booking. The manner in which you can translate that demand are the booking processes and what you're actually offering, and the desire from the market, or the desire linked to the demand from the market, is linked to sustainable experiences, great guides, and animal welfare. So think about those three steps and how you would look at approaching them, and how that would translate for you as a business and as an offering into your USPs. And I'll ask you guys one more time, please make sure you keep your microphones on mute. Thank you. Right, so Rachel, thanks very much. We'll make sure you get the recording, and hopefully we'll see you in the next session. Okay, so moving along, can you guys do a quick read of the information that's on the screen, this short paragraph? And I want you to tell me in the chat box, so write down what you think the unique selling points are from this company. This is an introductory paragraph from a tour operator. Can you tell me what their USPs are by reading this paragraph? You can just write down one word in the chat box, or two words, or whatever you think it is that's coming out of this paragraph. What are the USPs? Once you've had time to read the paragraph, tell me what you think are the unique selling points. Right, Leslie, sustainability. Yeah, Laura is saying sustainability, conscious travel, responsible travel. Nice. Yeah. Farida agrees, responsible travel. Any other USPs from anyone from this paragraph? Communications. Marlon, welcome back. security, safety, sustainable tourism. Good. Right. I'm going to give you guys tailor-made just a couple more minutes just to see if we can get any more answers out of you. All right. Has anyone else got a double screen? I'm getting a comment that my screen is overlapping. Can you guys see just this nice big white body of text in your screens? Is it okay for everyone? Authenticity, cultural immersion, nice. Okay, yes, I do. That's okay for me, okay. Right, let's carry on. Otherwise, we're going to rapidly run out of time. So you'll see now that I've put on a couple of markers onto the text. And I think some of the USPs that they're talking about are now highlighted. So it's their impact, the safe and comfortable spaces, the reconnection, the offering of help, and the exclusivity that they're talking about. Now, the reason that these are USPs is because effectively everyone can utilize the terminology around sustainability or connectivity as a selling point. But these are core values that they are using to try and pull in the consumer through an emotive introduction. And this is really important to think about. When you can engage with the consumer, strong imagery is not enough now to actually convert. What you now need is to be able to really pull in the emotive side of things. And that emotive side of things will then get people to investigate your product offering more. And then you can start telling them how sustainable you might be, or how your travel is responsible, or what impact you're having. But first you need to be able to capture them with these buzzwords. And these are things that people are looking for at the moment. Remember, they're looking to reconnect with nature, and they're looking to get away from people. So words like exclusivity, they're looking to be guided. So words like help, those are emotive buzzwords that people subconsciously will cling to. And then you can talk to them about other things. This is another long, interesting introduction. And while this is all very general, the top part of the paragraph, the very last sentence starts to pull on that emotive, right? We want to find what works best for you. But you have to have a very confident product offering if you want to wait right until the end of your introductory paragraph before you can actually start to emotively connect with people. So make sure your USP offering is strong, and make sure you can pull people in using the emotive side of things to be able to do that. I'm getting a lot of feedback, just muting some people again. Okay, so this is an interesting example of how a company can expand and offer its product to different markets. Does anyone else here have an example of being able to segment your niche when they find you? So apart from talking about adventure seekers or wildlife wanderers or slow travel, is there anyone else who has anything else that separates the market out? Is there another way of doing it? The reason I ask this is in this competitive world at the moment, a lot of operators have started really diversifying their offerings. So they've got a lot of different offerings, and it makes it very difficult for you to communicate your USP to a niche market. So having a way to segment your consumer, your customer, by bracketing them into different niches as soon as they get onto your market page or your website is very, very important. So think about being able to do that. If you're only dealing with one niche, it doesn't matter. But if you are dealing with multiple niches, then you need to be able to outline them. This is another example of a landing page. It's got a really nice image. It uses that amazing sort of slogan, but you can see the layout of this page leaves a little bit to be desired. What they are playing on is that button, help me plan, so trying to keep it simple and trying to tag people in. Here's another example from the same website. So using strong imagery, keeping the context of the information really, really small, and playing to that passion that they're looking to provide for people. And then providing a solution to that, I'll help you plan. Here's another one, which talks about something completely different. So strong statements, big imagery, and then keeping the rest of your information very, very simple on how you want to capture the markets. Now, this is a really interesting one, which I want to ask you guys about. This is very broad. You can see on this, they talk about volume. So they search through 300 itinerary ideas. How do you filter down to this? And do you think, a better question for you guys right now, do you think that they have a specific niche when they're offering 300 plus itinerary ideas? So very quickly in the chat box, do they have a specific niche, yes or no? Jesse says, I don't think so. No, no, no. I think everyone's kind of going in the no direction, which initially no. Laura, why do you say initially no? So Laura says because it allows you to then narrow it down and then talk to next to it. Good. So one of the things that's happening at the moment, that's okay, no worries. I appreciate the fast typing, Laura, thank you. So one of the things that a lot of operators are doing now is they're trying to offer diversity, and they're trying to capture a number of different niche markets. But it's really difficult to then bracket all of your niches on your landing page or on your homepage or in your advertising. So there are different ways to then capture the niche, and that is to have broad scale focus. I see someone's got their microphone on again. There we go, that should be better. So a lot of companies will have a lot of offerings. They'll offer you the opportunity to filter experience. So you can then decide what you fit into, right? Do you want to go to a specific destination, or are you a specific type of traveler? And from there, you can then speak to a specialist, or you can get market research and information that is much more specific to your USPs and your niche. What about this one? What are the USPs here? Any comments? What are the USPs for this site? What are they offering? Yeah, so luxury safaris, the general focus, right? So they are focusing on probably the higher end. They're looking at focusing just on the luxury segment attached to safaris, and they play strongly to that. And that's not a bad thing. They know what where their focus is, and they know what their niche is. And within that luxury niche, they can probably be speaking to families, multi-generational travel, photographers, wildlife enthusiasts, but all consumers who like to travel in a much higher level of comfort. So that luxury travel, and they speak to that tailor-made, luxury, exclusivity. Those are their big buzzwords that they're using, and that's great. It's a strong pull to their offering. What about this one? What is their USP, do you think? What are they trying to tell you in this image? Any ideas? Anyone want to tell me what they're trying to offer? What is their uniqueness? And it doesn't matter that it's in a different language, because it's not about the wording. Nice. Community connections, culture. local interaction, interactive. Nice, really nice answers. Yeah, so this image specifically is focusing on that local connectivity. Culture could be a local guide, but that personalization. So friendliness, nice one. And that's also a really, really good way to do it. What is the other very, very unique aspect of this image that you haven't seen on any of the previous images? There's one thing that's very specific here that hasn't come up on any of the other screenshots that I've shown you. Anyone want to hazard a guess? Yeah, it could be the type of client. Look more broadly. So it's not about the image itself. It's about what they're trying to provide the consumer with. Confidence, trust, yes, those are really good ones. You guys are going deep into the handshake, which is really, really good. I like that. But to not keep you on edge for too long, they've provided two different means of communication straight away, which is something that we talked about in the beginning, that connectivity, that contact that consumers want with partners on the ground, which will provide them with the confidence. So in this bottom right here, they've got this WhatsApp connectivity button. And they've also got a feedback slogan on the side of this image. So ways to utilize consumer feedback and consumer interactivity to elevate the consumer awareness. Personal touch, nice one, Tony. Okay, the good news is I'm starting to run out of things to talk about for this first session, which was the second session. Give me 1 second. We've got some background noise again. There we go. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. So customers searching for you, a question I want you to ask yourself right now, and this is not something you have to talk to the rest of the group about or tell me about, but do you think that if customers are searching for you and they find your product offering online through all of the many channels, right? You've got social media, websites, blogs, customer reviews. There's a huge amount of ways that your consumer can now search for you and find you. If they find you, will they be able to identify what your USPs are and what they are and whether they're relevant? And that's a really important question to ask yourself right now. If someone finds my site or finds my business or my offering, are they going to be able to tell me what my USPs are, why they are relevant for me as the consumer, and how I am communicating that? Is that effective right now? So think about the what, why, and how of your own USPs right now to your niche market, because finding your consumers is sometimes quite challenging, especially in the online world. And if they find you, you don't want to lose them. You want to make sure that you can give them the what, where, why, and how as quickly as possible so that they don't go looking for it from someone else. Right, so we are going to dive into a new session shortly. We've been on the go now for just under an hour, and Marlon's going to cover a session just now on the B2B working space. So this is more about knowing what your partner needs versus what the consumer needs, and we'll then have a further follow-up session on this a little bit later. I'm just going to very quickly check and see whether Marlon is back in action. Marlon, are you?
Yeah, I am back. Can you all hear me? Yeah, we have some troubles here in the neighborhood again with the internet connection. So I'm not very technical. I do not know exactly what is going on. The only thing I noticed that also my neighbors are complaining a lot. Anyway, I'm now using my cell phone to get connected, to be connected to you. So I'm a bit limited here with what I can do. So Simon, what I would like to ask you is to run the PowerPoint presentation to show the slides, because for me that will be very difficult right now. Thank you, Simon, for taking over. You started with session 2, and I was supposed to start with session 1. I don't know if that is something that I should still be doing. I don't know what you, but session 1 is about what unique selling points so maybe we can simply start with session 1. Yeah, so the last part of I had the opportunity to join that, and well, I think that Simon showed some very good examples also how companies visualize their unique selling points. But let me start with the session 1 and go back a little bit about what unique selling points is all about. So Simon, if you can.
Yeah, give me one second. I'm just trying to open up your presentation, but I'm not sure if I've got it in full presentation or only in PDF. So just give me 1 second. So what I'm going to do, I think, just to be super creative, I'm going to see if I can do it this way. So Marlon, do you want to kick back off where you were on the Europe focus?
No, we can start with the session 1.
Okay. Let's see if I can make this work.
But I think you only have it as a PDF.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm seeing if this will work. Give me 1 second, because
okay.
I think this will desktop to see. It is a PDF, so I'm going to have to scroll with you, but that's okay. I won't be able to click. I'll just be able to scroll. So.
Yeah. So unique selling points, that's the term that also Simon is using today, USP, but sometimes you also hear other terms, unique value proposition or unique selling proposition. Actually, it's all the same. We prefer today to use the term unique selling point, USP. So next one. So I'm sure that after you've been listening to Simon, that you already have a good understanding about what unique selling point is all about. So it has to do with unique, it has to do with selling, it has to be with distinguishing yourself from the competitor, knowing your consumer very well, and offering benefits to your client. But unique selling points, the clue is in the title itself. It's about unique. It's about a way of differentiating what you are selling compared to what others are selling. It's about the reason for people to come to you instead of someone else, another company, your competitor. If you offer the same as the rest, it's not a unique selling point. You have a selling point instead. The selling part is about, it's intended to sell the product, to sell the company also. Do business with me. That's what the selling part is all about. It's about an outcome. The outcome is a watch and catch. Give it to me. This is what I want. I want to have that. And that's the selling bit. And point is something brief, something short and sweet. Unique selling points is about no very long stories. So when you formulate your unique selling points, you will have to keep it short. Explanations ideally are not more than 20 words. Many people, when they formulate the unique selling points, they come up with a product as a unique selling point. So they say, my unique selling point is bird watching programs, for example. But a unique selling point is not product. Unique selling point is all about benefits, so that you explain the benefit to your client. Okay, we can go to the next one. So a little bit of definition of what unique selling point. It's a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer, how you solve your customer needs, and what distinguishes you from the competition. I mean, that's one definition. Unique selling point is a basic marketing concept in which you define what makes your product or service unique and valuable to your target market. So let's go to the next one. At the heart of each unique selling point is the client. With your unique selling point, you address the client's needs. So it's very important when you start to work on unique selling points that you perfectly understand the needs of your client. It all starts with that. Next one. Okay, so why is it important, a unique selling point? And I'm sure that Simon already tackled that as well, but it shows your face. It shows why you're unique, why you're special, and why people should be doing business with you. If you cannot identify your unique selling point, you will have a hard time to convince your business partner, your customer, to buy from you instead of your competitor. So unique selling point is very important, and it is something that you should shout out to the world. Look at this. These are my unique selling points. It's also something that you can visualize. Simon already showed some very good examples. So unique selling point is something that you can write down in text, but it's also something that you can visualize by using pictures on your website. So a unique selling point will help people, business partner, consumers, to understand what you as a Uganda tour operator offer and why, again, they should choose you over the competitor. Okay, next one. So this is actually, let's say, the game that we're all in. This is what you are doing as a tour operator. So to put USPs into a broader business context, you have this picture. It's 3 circles: what the customer wants, so the needs, what you do well, this is you as a Uganda company, and you have the competitor. And USP, that is your winning zone. These are the clear points of difference that meet the needs of the customer. That is important. The zone where you see the red cross, this is your losing zone. Don't go there. Your competitor meets the needs of the consumer. They do it better than you, so you will be crushed. You don't want to operate in that area. And the question mark area is what we call the competitive battleground. It's the risky area. Your competitor do it well. You can do it well. It is what the customer wants. So you have fierce competition here. You want to win the game. So if you want to be active in this question mark area, you need to be smart. You need to use a lot of emotion. You need to be very innovative and do things superior, better than your competitor. Then you will win in this question mark area. But for you as a business to be successful, focus on what your customer wants, what you're really good at, and what you can do much better than your competitor. That is the USP zone that you should make bigger. That is why you will generate good income and do the things that you're really good at. Okay, so very quickly, so we can go to the next slide. So again, at the heart of each USP is the client, the need of the client. You need to identify the needs of your customer. Okay, next slide, please. To explain to people about what unique selling points are all about, I always using this exercise. And it's about a whiteboard marker. We as trainers, Simon and I, when we are on location, we use a lot of whiteboard markers. And as I mentioned, at the core, at the heart of your unique selling point is a need. There's a lot of whiteboard markers, good quality, bad quality, but I want to have one that is good quality that I can use for a very long time. So my need is a whiteboard marker that has longevity, that I can use for a very long time. And what is going to give my whiteboard marker longevity? Then we are talking about the feature of the product, something that is in this whiteboard marker that is going to give me longevity. And the feature is water-based. So not an alcohol-based whiteboard marker, because when it's alcohol-based, it evaporates very quickly. It gets dry very quickly. And after using it just a couple of times, I cannot use it anymore. Okay, so a water-based whiteboard marker, that is what I want. And when I buy it in the shop, what's the benefit for me is it's long lasting. It won't dry out quickly. And when talking about unique selling points, it's all about the benefit. Describing the benefit. That is what USP is all about. Okay, so a unique selling point is about need, feature, and benefits. But again, the benefits part, that is where we are talking about unique selling point. All right, so let's go to the next one. So again, it all starts with a need. So who is your customer? If you work B2C directly with the consumer, then you're doing B2C business. If your customer is, let's say, a European tour operator or a North American tour operator, then you are doing B2B business. And maybe some of you only do B2C or only B2B, maybe some of you do both. It is important to know the needs, and the needs B2C are different from the needs B2B. And this is very important to understand, because also when you formulate your unique selling points, you have unique selling points for B2C and you have unique selling points for B2B. There's a difference. Your business partners have some different needs compared to B2C, the consumer, the end consumer, the end client. So this is a difference that you need to understand very clearly. Some people that do both B2C and B2B, what we as a CBI always advise to people is when you do both, is to have two different websites. One for B2C and one for B2B. Why? Because of these different needs and these different unique selling points that you have to communicate. What I sometimes see is that people do B2B business, but actually, when you look at their website, it's more like a B2C website. And also the unique selling points are more tailored to do B2C business. So that's a mistake. Some people, some companies that I know do both B2C and B2B business, and they have one website to cater for both B2C, B2B. But in general, these are guys that are very tech savvy. They know very well about technical online things, search engine optimization, and they know, because of their specific online knowledge, they know how to do things very well, very advanced, to having one website catering for both B2C, B2B. And when you go to the website, you have a login for B2B, and the B2B people, business partners, end up in a separate environment. But if you don't have that advanced knowledge about online stuff, things, web development, it's better to have two separate websites, one for B2C one for B2B. Okay, are there any questions based on this? I mean, actually, again, this was a session that we were supposed to start with before Simon would start his second session. Simon's session was about looking at the needs of the client. So he focused on B2C. And what I will do is to look together with you at B2B, the needs of the B2B people, or the, so to speak, your business partners. So are there any questions about unique selling points? Is it clear for you what unique selling points, what it is all about? If it's not clear yet, then please go to the chat box. For me, it's a bit difficult to check the chat box, so maybe Simon, you can keep an eye on it if there's still questions about USP.
Give me 1 second, I'll check for you at the moment. Nothing in the chat box at the moment, Marlon, with regards to the B2B space.
Okay. Good, good. All right, so I would then suggest that we have a short break of 5 minutes. It's now 11:20. So let's have a break of 10 minutes. So I can also solve still some things here. But I think we're managing quite well. Thank you, Simon, for running the PowerPoint. So let's have a break of 10 minutes. See if I can log in with my laptop, see if that works. Then see you back 11:30, and then we will start with the third session. Again, if you have any questions, use the chat box. So enjoy your break, and see you back at 11:30. Thank you.
I'll let you. Once I remember, come on, Pat. Don't want. I want it to be their own struggle. It's a good thing that you do.
He was already started. Marlon, I'm seeing you in full screen.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, I'm logged in. Right.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I tried to log in with my laptop, but I'm not going to take the risk, so I will be using my cell phone. So if you can share the slides again, the screen, that would be.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just carry on using the PDF.
Yeah. So we start with the session 3.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Sharing it now.
All right, so welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your short break. Get some coffee, some tea. So let's start with our third session. After Simon focused on B2C, so what the end consumer wants, we're now going to look into the B2B area. So what your business partner needs. So we can go to the next slide. Next one, yeah. All right, so again, it all starts with the need from the client, the customer, the demand from the market. As I mentioned, needs are different, so B2C versus B2B. So that also implies that when we talk about unique selling points, that the formulation of your unique selling points is different. So I mentioned if you do both B2C, B2B, good to have separate websites, one optimized for B2C with B2C focused unique selling points. And if you do B2B, a website with that is optimized for doing B2B business with unique selling points on it, tailored towards doing B2B business. All right, so again, a need, B2B or B2C, then you put something into your products or into your services. That's when we talk about the feature. And then what's the benefit of buying this product or service from you? Explaining the benefit is again where we talk about unique selling points. Again, as I mentioned, some people, they do not come further than the feature. So the feature is the product, for example. I do bird watching, I sell bird watching products, but a product is not a unique selling point. I mean, it can be, but you need to explain it. You need to explain the benefit of your product, of this bird watching product. If you buy it, what's the benefit for you? And that is again, unique selling point. Okay. This is the difference that I was talking about, B2B versus B2C. So if you're a B2C company, then your unique selling points should be focused on the products, on the program. On a B2C website, you give all the details of your programs, the itineraries. But on a B2B website, this is, for example, not necessary. I mean, that's one difference when we talk about website. If you're a B2B company, the focus of your unique selling points is on you, who you are, the people in your company, their background, their history, their expertise. It's about handling standards. This is what B2B USPs are all about. So again, there's a clear difference. Okay, before looking further into this, I would like to go to the next slide, and because it's now in PDF, you already get the answer directly. But here you see 100 business partners. It's your lucky day. I'll give you 100 European business partners, tour operators from Europe that are looking for a business partner in Uganda. And that might be you. Before this European tour operator, before they reach out to you, met you at, for example, the World Travel Market or the ITB Berlin, 81%, I mean, almost 81%, it's 80.8%, 81 out of these 100 European tour operators, they will visit your website to check on you. Who are you? What are you doing? What are you really good at? And you know what they are also looking for? And then we go to the next slide. What is your passion? Why should I choose you as a Uganda tour operator company to do business with you? What are the benefits of doing business with you? What are unique selling points? So these are the questions that European tour operators have. And that is why they go to your website, because they want to have answers to the questions that they have. And these are also the kind of questions that they have when they visit a trade show like ITB or World Travel Market. And this is where things also go wrong. When I'm at trade shows and I see a European tour operator visiting the counter, the desk of a, I don't know, could be you, Uganda tour operator, then what happens a lot is that because we are all so excited about our country, you're excited about Uganda, and you want to share a lot of information about the beautiful forest that you have, the gorillas, the things that you can do in your capital city, etc., etc. That is what we start talking about. But this is actually really not needed. I mean, this European tour operator, you don't have to tell them about your gorillas, your forests, all the things that you can do, your tourist highlights, because 99% already knows about Uganda. They might have visited your country already. So they know about the gorillas, the wildlife, the safari, everything. They know that. No, what they would like to hear from you is who you are, what you're good at, what's your passion, what makes your business different from the other competitors that are also presented at the trade show. So what are the benefits of doing business with you? That is what they would like to hear, not about things they already know. So one of the things that could help you when you go to trade fairs is that you prepare like an elevator pitch. And when we do trainings, we also learn people how to do an elevator pitch, which is like a very short 2-3 minute talk to your future business partner and to really grab his or her attention. And that is, an elevator pitch is also something where you focus on your passions, what you're good at, what the benefits are for this other person to work with you, to choose you instead of the competitor. So, all right. So at trade shows, but also on your website, Europeans, when they go visit and they want to learn more from you, these are the questions that they would like to find an answer to. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So if you want to access the European market through European tour operators. So again, that's about doing B2B business. You need to understand what these European partners, business partners, tour operators are looking for. And here you have actually like a wrap-up or a summary of the most relevant things for a tour operator. And I'm not going through it because we on the next slides, we will further look at these things. But as the final point, I added COVID-19. And I'm sure that Simon already mentioned to you, because of this pandemic, health and safety are important to all of us, all the people. If we want to travel, we want to be in safe hands. And on top of that, as travelers, as people, business partner, consumer, we also expect more flexibility from your side. And then we're talking about cancellation, more flexible, a more lenient cancellation and refund policies. So that is also now what European tour operators, also consumers, are looking for. So it's something that somehow you should be managing to tackle or capture as well when we talk about unique selling points, but more about that later on. So let's go to thank you, Simon. A couple of years ago, we did like a survey among European tour operators. And what we asked to these tour operators is to rank these items that you see here on the screen. And the question to these tour operators was, if you go search for a business partner abroad, overseas, what is the most important to you? So we asked them to rank these 10 items that you see here on the screen. And my question now to you is, what do you think is most important for European tour operators when they are looking for a new business partner? What do you think is the number one? Please go to the chat box and just mention one of these items that you see here. So again, we have 10, but what is the most important one? I see reputation, Jane Francis. So what do you think is the most important? Reputation, response, I see. So operational response, product knowledge. Reputation, response, product knowledge, speed. All right. Very good answers, because these are all definitely in the top 5. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll give you the answers. Operational response is the most important. So you can have a very good reputation, you can have very good products, you can be speed and you can be fast in replying to email or whatever, but operational response is absolutely the number one. So when we talk about operational response, we are talking about things on the ground. So if something happens, someone gets sick or contaminated with COVID, I mean, that can happen. How quick can you solve these kind of issues? So that's an example of operational response. If something happens and the itinerary needs to be adjusted and still satisfy the traveler, how fast can you solve these things on the ground? That is about operational response. So number 1, operational response. Number 2, product knowledge. 3, speed. 4, price, language ability, etc. So this is now how you can see what are the priorities, what do the tour operator, European tour operators found the most important when searching for a new partner abroad. So the ideal Uganda business partner for the European outbound tour operators is known for 1, operational response, good product knowledge, 2, 3, speed, etc. So when you look at these things here on the screen, actually we're talking about unique selling points. And ideally, what you see here on the screen is something that you are going to work with, and is something that you're going to capture or convert into your B2B unique selling points. But of course, you need to be honest to yourself. I mean, don't say like, our language ability, number 5, is the greatest. If you people do not speak other foreign languages, then it's lying, then it's not true. So you need to be honest. But again, these are the 10 most important things for a European tour operator. So they will be looking for these kind of things on your website. What about your operational response? What about this and that? Because that tells a story about you. So again, concerning your B2B unique selling points, these are the kind of things that they would like to see and read about on your website. And again, this is different. If you talk B2C, it's different. B2C unique selling points, or B2C end consumers, they are more looking into the price, into the products, into all the details, etc. No, for European tour operators, for B2B, it's about you, how professional you are, your knowledge about the product, your operational response, etc., etc. All right, so let's go to the next one. Next we can go to the next one. So again, operational response best. It's about things on the ground, but it's about your handling standards. Also about picking up the phone, how quick, replying to email, solving things, solving problems, etc., and notifying your business partner. That is also when we are talking about operational response. And one cultural thing here, and that is why I added I don't know. I had many occasions where, well, not that many, a couple, a situation where I work with African companies, where I work with Asian companies, and it's a cultural thing here. Sometimes people from countries, because of their culture, they don't like to say no to a business partner. We don't know. So they get a request from the European tour operator. Can you please send me the rates for the next high season? Or share with me your price list for the next high season. And then it happens that some companies in Africa and Asia that I work with, that they could not send the price list yet because they didn't know yet the prices for the hotels that they were working with. So they didn't reply to the email from the European tour operator. And this European tour operators, sometimes they started to call me, like, I asked for the new prices, but they're not replying. What is going on? So I talked with these Asian and some of these African companies, and then I say, why are you not replying to the request from the European tour operator? And then they told me, yeah, because we don't know. So we are not replying. For Europeans, if you don't know, always reply. Send an email, say, thank you for your email. I cannot send you the price list yet because we don't know the prices from our hotels for the next season, but And that is something that you can do. You can say, within 1 week or 2 weeks, we will know the prices, so then we can send it to you. That's one answer. Or you can say like, okay, I contacted the hotels, they don't have it yet, but I can give you some ranges, like price ranges. It will most probably between, I don't know, 100 and 200 American dollars. But the final prices, you will receive them in the next couple of weeks. So it might be a bit of a culture. I don't know about Uganda. Unfortunately, I never visited Uganda. I hope one day, very soon, I will be there. But it's just to mention to you that when we talk about operational response and you really want to deliver good quality, and that also, I don't know, is an answer for European tour operators. Okay, next slide. The product knowledge, the number 2 most important. Well, you are the expert, so they expect that you know everything about the product, all the details, be creative, everything. You are the expert. The world has changed. I mean, international tour operators, including the European ones, we are all in this very competitive industry called travel and tourism. And like maybe 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, European tour operators still had these big budgets and being able to send their product managers abroad to the destinations, do the scouting, and come up with new products, new ideas, etc., etc. But these times have completely changed. They don't have these budgets anymore. So European tour operators, they really rely on you as the local expert, the inbound business partner for Uganda. So we can go to the next slide. So you are really the expert. You should come up with all the details about a product, about a country, all the details about the itinerary. And this is something that you should be very well aware of, because this also means that actually European tour operators, you know, they expect you to be also like assertive, so that you talk to them like, okay, how are you doing? What about the market? Huh? Okay, if we talk about the German tour operator, that you also ask them good questions like, what about, what is going on about the German senior traveler? Are there any changes that you notice? Any requests that you get from your consumers that are really that come back very often, that are maybe remarkable? Are there any changes that you see in terms of accommodation or activity preferences? Be assertive, ask the questions, because you will be able to get a lot of quality inputs from your business partner and do the right things to reply or to meet with the needs. Again, it all starts with needs. And then to put the right things into your products and services, to put the right things into your itinerary to meet the needs of the client. And to be different, again, unique selling point. So ask your business partner questions about what is going on in the market, what are the things that are changing. And actually, here we are talking again, that is what we discussed last week during our first masterclass training. We are talking about market intelligence. So high quality data from experts, filtered, analyzed data that will give you high quality inputs to do the right things, to take the right decisions. So be assertive, not aggressive, but reach out to your business partner and ask these questions. So on the next slide, there are some techniques about how to be assertive, what you can do. But that is something that that you can look at later. That is also actually like a different training. So again, product is the second, product knowledge, the second most important thing for European business partners. And so if we talk about product, we are also talking about the way how you present your products. And as I mentioned to you, there's different needs here. The consumer, so B2C, they want to have all the details of the itinerary, maybe from minute to minute. I mean, that's exaggerated, but they really want to have the full details. And what you can see here on the screen is how to present your product, also online, but also in your brochures or digital brochures. There's some people unmuted.
Marlon, you're muted. We can't hear anything.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry for this. Today is a technical problem day for me. It gives me a headache. Okay, you can hear me again. So product knowledge, the second thing, but on your website, okay, I have a lot of echo now. I don't know why. Okay, let me continue. It's gone now. All right, so to show your product knowledge in a B2B way, or to show that product knowledge is a unique selling point of your company, the way you can present your products online for the B2B, then we go to the next slide. Because this is an example of how you present your products online when you do B2B business. And it's only about the highlights. I mean, for European business partners, that is enough. If you show your highlights, or maybe if we talk about highlights here, we can also talk about unique selling points of your products, unique selling points. This, for European business partners, will be enough. They will look at this tour of you golfing and enjoy and going like a local, and they will look at the highlights. And that tells the story, that tells why this product is so unique, why so special. So for doing B2B business, this is enough. This is how you can communicate your product, your products online, and show that product knowledge is one of your strengths, one of your top unique selling points. So no need for day-to-day detailed itinerary descriptions. This is what you do when you do B2C business, when you work directly with the travelers, with the FITs, etc. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Speed is the third thing. The tourism and travel industry, it's competitive. It's a fast industry, so you need to be able to solve things quickly. Again, this is also related to the number one, the operational response. Your operational response have to be fast. But speed is also about, again, as I mentioned, replying to email. So some companies, they mention online, if we reply within 24 hours to email requests, things like that. Speed, again, is very important. European, we are very impatient people. And if we send you a request, we want to have the fastest reply. So the quicker you are, the better. So speed, the number 3. All right, let's continue. So if we talk about speed, and this is actually part of a different training, but it's also about prioritizing things. I mean, each one of us will receive a lot of emails every day. And what I do when I see emails is that I put them into different boxes. I label the emails like very important, less important, not important. The not important emails, they can wait. I can do later. But the very important emails, I need to reply to these emails very fast. And the requests that you receive from the European tour operators, they go into this very important folder, because these are the ones that you will have to process very quickly, because speed, again, is very important. And this slide, again, is about how you can look at, you know, things that you receive, and how you can deal with emails, prioritize things. That also, I mean, this is just popping up now when I talk about speed. I had the pleasure for many years to be able to work with a company in Asia, and this was a company that was doing B2C business, and they were very tech savvy. They had a website that was really advanced. They worked with the web developing company somewhere in Singapore, if I remember well. And they had a really, really nice website. And when a consumer visited their website, they did some kind of screening with cookies. I don't know how they exactly did it, very technical, but they labeled the visitors to their website, and they could put them like into boxes. This is a very important consumer visiting our website. This one is less important, and this one is not important at all. And their website focused, prioritized, again, the very important consumers. And when they went online and visited or left their email somewhere, they immediately started with their, call it, you know, customer communication. Hey, well, we saw that you visited our website. You looked at this and that, and that was very clever, because they generated a lot of sales by extra sales by filtering out these very important consumers online who visited the website, and do very good communication and sell extra products. But again, this is B2C. But again, my message here is speed. Prioritize your people, consumers, but also what you receive from business partners, and follow up on that quickly. All right, then we can move to the next slide. Price, fourth most important, needs to be transparent, proportionate, accurate, nothing hidden, and in agreement with the request. And sometimes there things go wrong. So there's a request from the European tour operator. We want to have a 2-week itinerary, put this into the product, that and that and that. And sometimes people come up with something that is not in line with the request, a price that is too high, etc. That annoys European tour operators. So read well, listen well to what the request is is all about. Focus on that. No extra things that they don't need, and come up with a good, with a nice price. Okay, next one. Language ability, the number 5. So as you might remember from last week, when we discussed about different European countries, one of the things that we mentioned is that, for example, when you deal with Italian, with Spanish partners or guests, these countries, most of the times, they do prefer to communicate with people that speak Spanish or that speak Italian. So the people within your office, if they speak Italian and Spanish language, then you absolutely have a unique selling point. You have an advantage, a competitive advantage over your competitor, because again, they like to do business with people who speak their language. This is also about your guides. Again, you know, Spanish, Italians in general, they prefer to have a guide that speaks their own language. So it depends a little bit. If you work with Scandinavian countries or Netherlands, UK, Ireland, you know, English is perfect enough. But depending on what country you are going to work with in Europe, language ability, it's still very important. Again, it's the 5th, it ranks 5th. So it's important. Okay, next slide. So the number 6 and 7, supply chain. So that is where we talk about your network in Uganda. So the hotels that you're working with, the transportation companies that you're working with, the activity companies that you're working with, etc., etc. The value chain, your supplier network. And a very good unique selling point that sells very well to European tour operators is that you mentioned something like, we have a very extensive and strong network of suppliers in our country, so we will be able to give you the best rates. That is a good unique selling point, and that will excite European tour operators. When I asked you the questions about what is the most important item of these 10 items that you could choose from, a lot of people also mentioned reputation. Absolutely, that is, I think reputation is going up in the top 10. You know, like the last decade, you see all these websites where you can give reviews, rankings, scores. People in Europe are getting very sensitive to all these kind of rankings and scores. They really are looking into this to get a better image, understanding about your company and how other people feel about the products that they purchase from you. When we talk about reputation, we are also talking about what you are doing in terms of sustainability. And next week, Simon and Anne will more and more talk about that, especially about as a result of the COVID-19, when people start to rethink their travel behavior, etc. They are more and more critically looking also at you, towards you. What about your products and the impact on the country, the impact on local economies? Or what about your programs, itineraries? Do they support environmental conservation, for example? So your ethical reputation, your business reputation is getting more and more important. Europeans are sensitive to that. Reputation, when you talk about European tour operators, again, searching for other partners, they will also look at, for example, did you win any awards? Or are you a member of UTA? Or are you a member of AUTO? Because those memberships and awards tell something about you, your professionalism and quality standards that you comply with. All right, so enough about reputation. So let's go to the next slide. So environmental awareness, that was the number 8. So here we are also talking about, again, about sustainability. So what are you doing as a Uganda tour operator to minimize negative impacts on the environment? But this one also touches on other things like the environment in terms of supporting local economies, working with local farmers, conservation projects, etc., etc. And when we are talking about unique selling points nowadays, B2B, but also B2C, you clearly notice that sustainability increasingly becomes part of unique selling point formulation. So European business partners and consumers, when they are looking for you or searching on your website to learn about what you're going to, what you're doing, what you're selling, they will also be searching for unique selling points that tell them more about what you're doing, what you are doing in terms of sustainability. And here I'm giving you two examples. All our guides are recruited locally, which means that they know the destination better than anyone. And you see these colors that I used, the yellow, the pink, and the green. And the green highlights where we talk about a unique selling point. The yellow part is where we talk about feature. Remember, unique selling points start with the needs, then you put something in the product, the features of the product, and then unique selling point is the benefit. So here, recruited locally is the feature. So your guides, you recruit them, they're all local guides. And the benefit for your customer is that they will get to know Uganda better than anyone, because these locally recruited guides that you are working with, they know the local anecdotes, they know the hidden gems, they know the special sites. So your customer will have the benefit that they will learn the hidden secrets of Uganda. When they leave your country, they will have had the deepest cultural insight. That's the benefits, that's the unique selling point. Another one here is all restaurants in our accommodations purchase fresh produce grown or reared locally to bring you an authentic taste of the destination. It's another sustainability unique selling point. So you're working with accommodations that have restaurants where the food is from the field, from the local farmers, no pesticides, it's the fresh taste from the field. So if they choose for you, then all the guests that will walk with you, they will have an authentic taste of Uganda. They will be able to taste the fresh, special herbs, the fresh food. So it's just another example of a sustainability USP. And the advantage here, and it's not mentioned here, is but when you make use of locally recruited guides, if you work with local farmers who bring the food to the restaurants, then you're also supporting local economies. So your company, if we walk with you, then we also leave a positive impact on the local people. So it's just a unique selling point. Also environmental awareness, being certified by one of these sustainability certification scheme for tourism companies, Green Key, Travel Life, TourSearch. You have sustainability certification schemes for accommodations. So if you're certified, and put that very clearly on your website, into your brochures, etc. Because European consumers, they are looking for these kind of sustainability certification awards schemes. All right, so these are the needs of the European tour operators, your business partners. This is what they are looking for, and these are the things that when they visit your website or read your digital brochure, operational response, product knowledge, price, language ability, somehow they want to learn about these kind of things. So in the next session, session 4, Simon and I, we are going to present you examples of tour operators from different countries, and we are going to look at how they present on their website, how they present their unique selling points. And we will show you examples of tour operators that are focusing on B2C business, and we will show you examples there of B2B business, tour operators doing B2B business. But before starting with the session 4, are there any questions? If you have questions, then please go to the chat box and let us know. Any questions? No? All right, then Simon, then I will give the floor to you so that you can start with session 4.
Thanks, Marlon. Just give me 1 second. I'm just changing from one screen to the next. Bear with me for. Sorry, everyone. I'm having seems like we're all having some technical challenges today. I'll be with you in
I think there's a question from someone in the chat box asking about how to present logos. You know, like for example, membership of UTA or a logo of an award that you won. Prominently put it on your homepage, for example. We won an award, we are a member of UTA or AUTO, because again, it's something that people are looking for, because it tells a story about the success of your company, your membership of UTA, AUTO also, that creates reliability. So prominently put it on your website. Also in your email communication, for example, I assume that when you send email to your business partners, for example, that you, at the bottom of your email, you have this automatic signature with your name, your contact details, etc. It's also something where you can put logos, award-winning company, and you put a logo of the award that you won. But again, your membership of UTA, AUTO, you can also add that in your automatic signature at the bottom of emails. And some people they even put it on their business card. And I've seen some business cards from people in the past that on one side they have their contact details, and at the bottom the logo of for example UTA, of an award that they won, and at the other side of the business card, they, as 5 bullet points, they mention their unique selling points. It's very, very clever. There's another question about reviews, testimonies. That also works very well. Maybe some of you are linked to a TripAdvisor, and some tour operators on their homepage, they have like this, how do you call it? This bar that is moving where reviews pass by, like, oh, we traveled with this company, it was very nice, very good guides, blah, blah, blah. So that can also work. I know a trainer, for example, from the UK, and she's providing human resource trainings. And when you go to her homepage, it's only testimonies that you see on her homepage. So feedbacks from big corporates about the trainings that she delivered. And she once told me that works very, very well, because people are sensitive to reviews, to testimonies. And for example, when they see, I don't know, Coca-Cola, whatever, I don't know what company, who dropped a big name, a famous name, a CEO from that company, he left a review on the website. People are really sensitive to these kind of things. So also that is something that you can work with on your homepage or in a different way, but it's good for external communication. It will definitely help you. So, okay, I hope that answered your questions. Simon, please take the floor.
Thanks very much, Marlon. Right, good to be back with all of you, and thanks very much, Marlon, for the last session. It was really really insightful. Lots of really interesting information. So, a quick question to everyone out there, very quickly: who is currently working with or has worked with international agents or partners before? Give us a quick indication in the chat box. Are you or have you worked with international agents or partners? A simple yes or no is probably enough. Okay, so we've got quite a slant towards the yes, a couple of no's. This is not a kind of a right or wrong answer, so don't stress too much about it. One of the useful places to, not yet, I like the positivity there, James. One of the useful things to do is in this whole sort of process of identifying your niche markets, looking at your USPs, whether you are working on a B2B market or a B2C market, is to look at successful businesses around the world and how they are doing what they're doing. So when I say how they're doing what they're doing, I'm talking more about how they're presenting themselves, because there are some very successful businesses out there, and there's some other businesses who are not so successful. So we're going to look a little bit into how you market your USPs and what that actually might entail when looking at your website. So how you're presenting yourself. We spoke about the emotive side. We spoke about pulling in people's sort of the buzzwords, so how to really engage them. And I thought it'd be useful, or we thought it'd be useful, to have a quick look at some of the fundamentals and a couple of case studies where we're going to talk about what's good, what's bad, what they're using. So for starters, I think when you're marketing yourself and your USPs, you need to think about a number of different aspects. And for me, you can break them down into a couple of brackets, and I'll explain why these brackets are relevant. But looking at the layout of your website, obviously your design, the message you're trying to communicate, what is the action that you want to come off of people coming onto your website? So are they looking at the website just to gain information, or actually trying to get them to book? And hopefully you're trying to get them to book, because otherwise, yeah, what's the point in them spending lots of time on your site? But whatever your call to action is, it should be visible and it should be understandable and decipherable. And some of the areas to think about are, what is the attraction of the site? What type of confirmation are you looking at? And then what is that action at the end of it? So, you know, the attraction in the beginning is going to be visually. So does it look good? Does it look professional? Are the images good? What information is quick and easy to find without having to do a lot? And that, can you convert your potential buyers, whether those are partners or consumers? Is it easy for them to confirm what they're looking for, find out what they want, and then go to actioning that? And that action, the call to action, it needs to be simple, it needs to be easy, and it needs to, unfortunately, at the moment, be pretty diverse. What we're seeing is that different generations have different styles of communication. Younger generations now are really used to doing everything on social media. So it means you might be communicating through a social media platform or an instant messaging platform like a WhatsApp. The older generations are still quite inclined to lots of reading materials, lots of information gathering, and potentially phone calls. So think about the attraction of your site, the confirmation that you're trying to give people when they're coming onto that, and what is the action you're trying to achieve. For most international agents, their primary focus for the design of their website is bookings. So while you can get a lot of information, their primary focus when dealing with partners or consumers is to convert people that are coming onto their site into bookings. And they want to try and make that process as clear and simple and concise as possible. There's not a lot else that they are thinking about. There's a lot of information that goes into the site, but the purpose is the action at the end. So here's an example of an international agent. Interesting enough, what they're doing at the moment is they've kept their base site relatively standard. So what they have done is they have highlighted new focus points, and the two ones that you can see there are their COVID policies, quick and easy for people to find, 100% refundable deposit, no cancellation or deferral fees. So that straight away answers a number of the questions that your buyers will have. And what they've also done is they've put in consumer referencing or consumer feedback. So they've got that FIFO rating up there. That again gives people the confidence to think, okay, I'm not the first person who's discovered these guys. They must be good at what they're doing. What they've also done strongly here is they've highlighted how well or how good they're doing things. So they've branded their site with those awards that they've achieved, again, to install confidence and install consumer sort of buying premise. So people think this is the company to work with. Outside of those things, they have used a strong image. They haven't really thrown on big, strong USPs. It's not like if you look at the site, you think, okay, they definitely speak to sustainability, or they are really good at consumer guest services, or they're really good at insurance cover.
Why?
Getting some nice background noise.
Yeah.
There we go. Muted that one. Yeah, so they are highlighting and focusing a number of aspects linked to customer feedback, what the policies, and also the awards that they have achieved. Right, the next one is looking at a couple of different things. The first is they've got a very, very strong bold banner at the top. So contact for them seems to be really important. Request a catalog, sign up for a newsletter, call us, and contact us through a couple of different mediums. And they've also highlighted this for faster service section, that really bright yellow banner at the top. So again, they're not highlighting really hardcore USPs per se. They've got a really nice, strong floating image to tie that emotive, and they're looking to try and get in contact with people very, very quickly. But there's a lot of contact medium here. So you're going to have to then, as a consumer or as a person who's coming onto the site, say, well, what am I looking for? Am I looking for a trip or a destination, a type of trip, a special offering, or do I want to get in touch with an expert? But they don't have critical, visible USPs apart from really strong communications. So here's another one. And we'll round off with this one because we can carry on going. But it's important to highlight some of the messages and then stop. So this is an interesting one because they have got a strong association and affiliation with a strong partner. And the reason I selected this one is they don't just do single destinations. They are a business that covers a number of destinations around the world. But by having a very strategic and strong partnership with the WWF, they automatically elevate their niche markets. And this company has a very strong focus on things like sustainability, on local communities, on partnerships, and very much on guides. A lot of their emphasis is on guides. And in this entire sort of breakdown of the screen, there's a lot going on, but their primary focus is conservation travel. So the USP coming off of this flash, of this screenshot, for this specific landing page is very much around conservation travel. They've decided they're going to highlight that for you. They've put it in bold in the opening paragraph. And they know that that's going to be a strong calling card for any of the potential consumers that come onto the site, because their consumers are coming from partners like the WWF. So interesting to think about, going back to this slide over here. This slide over here. When you're looking at how you're going to market yourself, once you've identified who your niche is or what your niche markets are, because you can have more than one, you need to think about how you then start to communicate those. What is your layout? Does it have to change? How does the design change? The design is relating to colors, to font types, to image selections. That's your design aspects. And it makes a big difference what type of font you use. It also makes a big difference what type of colors you use. So there's consumer preference around all of those different aspects. Once you've got your layout and your design, think about the message you're trying to communicate, and never forget about the action. You want people to stay on your site so they can get in touch with you. If you are the foremost expert on wildlife tourism in Uganda and people can't get in touch with you, you can't sell your USPs. So make sure you've always got a call to action. All right. So does anyone have any questions on any of these international examples, or any comments per se? If you've got any comments, let me know. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Now you can see me. Does anyone have any comments? Just checking the chat box quickly. No comments or questions on these international examples? No? Okay. I guess I'm going to hand the floor back to you then, Marlon.
All right. Yeah. So if you can share the screen again. So yeah, you heard Simon mention the word that I often hear is when we talk about websites is call to action. So you want people to visit your website and buy from you or do something in action. And again, what I would like to repeat here is the difference between B2C and doing B2B business, because the call to action is different. If you were B2C, again, working directly with the traveler, with the consumer, the call to action is about selling a it's a different thing. I mean, you're not selling. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I thought I lost you again. So
It's right, okay.
Perfect. So the
seems to be a technical day, Marlon.
Yeah, it's a great day. Anyway,
right.
So again, the call to action when you do B2B business is different, because actually what you want, if a European tour operator visit your website, is that they learn about you, that they learn about your people, and that somehow they reach out to you and contact you to discuss or negotiate business, that's the call to action. I had some funny examples that there were people doing. They told me, yeah, I'm doing B2B business. So I said, great. And what about your website? Let's have a look at your website. And then we looked at their website, and I said, all right, you just told me you do B2B. That's a B2C website, because all your products are there, very detailed, all the day-to-day description, itineraries, everything specified. A button, a book here with a payment module, etc. That's a B2C website. That's not necessary for B2B. B2B is all about showing yourself, your people, what you are doing. Short, as I mentioned, and I showed to you in one of the previous slides, short presentation of your products, just the highlights. That's good enough. All right, so what you see here on the screen is the website of Exo Travel. It's a well-known tour operator. Maybe you heard from them earlier. And when you go to exotravel.com, their website, to see the unique selling points of Exo Travel, you can click Why Travel with Exo. So what are the benefits of traveling with us or doing business with us? Because Exo Travel is mainly doing B2B business. So when you click on Why Travel with Exo, you will see this page, and that's the next slide. So these are the unique selling points of Exo Travel. Timely and professional service, that's number one. Second one, training and quality. Third one, dedication and expertise. So 3 unique selling points. But as I mentioned, unique selling points needs to be very short, very brief, but you will need to explain a little bit more the benefit. So what is timely and professional service? What does that mean? Training and quality, what does that mean? Dedication and experience, what does that mean? And that is exactly what you see in these, call them small explanatory notes that come with these 3 short unique selling points. And when we will share the slides with you, and Simon, I just sent you an email with the slides from today and last week. So at the end, please upload this for the people in the chat box so they can download. Later on, you can read this. Thank you, Simon. You can read this. But if you look at these unique selling points from Exo Travel, it all goes back to what I showed to you earlier today. These 10 items with on number 1, operational response as the most important item that business partners are looking for. And all these important items is captured in what you see here on the screen. So, and they are really professional people, Exo Travel. They are really excellent. And the way they formulate their unique selling points and present it here is very well done. And this, if I, as a European tour operator, go to Exo Travel and read this, it will definitely grab my attention, and I will get excited to contact Exo Travel and discuss, negotiate, possibilities for collaboration. So this is just an example. Oops, I think people, please put yourself on mute. Okay, so let's go to the next slide.
Got lost.
Hello, please put yourself on mute. All right, so
sorry about that. There we go.
This is Discover Ireland Tours. It's an inbound tour operator for the country of Ireland. And this is the way how they present their 9 USPs. As you can see, for each USP, they use an icon, because as I mentioned, and as Simon also clearly explained to you, is that visualizations can help to send or to explain or show the unique selling points. So icons, although I'm not so excited about these ones, but sometimes through pictures or using funny icons, you can communicate across your unique selling points. And purchasing power is one of the unique selling points. Established and qualified tour operator, so that touches on reputation, membership of national tour operator associations, things like that. Peace of mind is one of their unique selling points, where they explain about operational response. You know, don't worry, our handling standards are very professional. Operational response is the best. We will take everything out of your hands, just lay down, relax, and you know, everything will be fine. So another example of a tour operator and how they present their unique selling points on their website. And on the next slide, we will see the example of G Adventures, which is one of the biggest, largest adventure travel tour operators in the world. Actually, they do both B2C and B2B business, but this is how they present their 6 unique selling points. Small groups with a short explanation. The green, I mean, you see some green circles. These are the sustainability unique selling points of this company called G Adventures. Built to you walk with us. All our itineraries, they are designed as such that they will leave a positive impact on local livelihoods. The G for good, this touches on their compliance with sustainability certification criteria, sustainability criteria, etc., etc. Locally based guides. We have the best guides, locally recruited, and they know the destination the best, as no one. And that's also a unique selling point. The blue circle that you see here, this is related to COVID-19. And it's called Book and Travel with Confidence. And they added this as a unique selling point. And it's actually a product portfolio of G Adventures where all the tourism suppliers, okay, please put yourself on mute. Thank you. So Book and Travel with Confidence is a specially designed a group of itineraries, travel packages, where all the suppliers, all the hotels, all the activities, all the transportation companies that are part of these packages have implemented health and safety, tourism health and safety protocols to minimize the risk of the COVID-19 disease. So they tackled this, G Adventures, and they put this as a unique selling point. If you do business with us, book and travel with confidence. All our suppliers were screened, have implemented, are compliant with the national health and tourism safety protocols from their country. So another example. Okay, so this is a slide that I already showed earlier. So when you do B2B business, your unique selling points is also all about your people, your staff, the team, and the business network. And when we go to the next slides, these are two screenshots of companies in Asia that I worked with, and they are both doing B2B business. And when we worked with the IT experts as part of the CBI coaching program that Jeanette presented to you last week, is that we looked at the websites of all the companies that we were assisting. And for these two companies doing B2B business, we revamped their website, redesigned their websites, and we mentioned to them, if you want to get connected to the European market, B2B wise, it's very important that you show your face. Who are the people working in your company? A small profile. And what I especially like about the screenshot that you see at the bottom right-hand side is where you see the red arrow, is that when you want to get connected as a European tour operator to Mr. Mintan Tut, the founder of this company, then you have several icons that you can click, and you will go to Facebook, or you will, an email message will open automatically, or you go to the LinkedIn webpage. But very handy, and by adding these contacting icons, you make it very easy for business partners to quickly get connected to Mintan Tut, this person running the company. So look at your website. If you're really into B2B, again, it's also about you, who you are, your people, how professional, background, history, etc., years of experience in the industry. European tour operators are looking for that. All right, so then we go to the next slide, and this is a company called Discover Africa Group. They do B2B business, and if you look at their homepage, you clearly can see that their website is optimized for doing B2B business. So what we do is about the company, who we are, the story about us. When you click that, you will be able to learn about their unique selling points. But unique selling points formulated for B2B. Our team, again, if you do B2B business, the people, your staff, it's all about that. So when you click on our team, you will see, or you will be able to read more about the people working at Discover Africa Group. So again, this difference B2C and B2B in terms of USP formulation, in terms of doing business, it's very important. So look critically at your current website. Is it optimized for doing B2C business? Is the call to action there? So a button where people can click and book the travel package. Is it there? Are your unique selling points formulated in a B2C way? Look at it. If you do B2B business, again, it's the same story. Is it optimized for B2B? What about unique selling points? What about the call to action? Because again, for a B2B website, not necessary to put your prices there, not necessary to put a button there, book now, because that won't happen. They will contact you to negotiate business, potential opportunities, but European tour operators, they are not going to book a trip at your website. That's again for B2C. Okay, so this is a B2C site, also from Discover Africa, because they do both. They do B2B business and they do B2C business. But for B2C business, their website looks different. For the B2C, again, it's more about click, go to the itinerary, read the descriptions, and you can buy the travel package by clicking the button, purchase now, book now, or whatever. And about us, when you click there, when the consumer clicks there, he or she will find the unique selling points, but formulated in a B2C way. All right, then the next slide. So when we talk about unique selling points, there are two things that you should not mention. A lot of companies, they mention price as a unique selling point. Most of the times, we're the cheapest. We offer the lowest price. That is what they present as their unique selling point. Do not do that. Never claim best or lowest price as your unique selling point, because you might end up in trouble, because it might be very difficult to keep the promise here. If there's a competitor offering a lower price, then if your unique selling point is the lowest price, you will have to lower your price again. Some companies that had lowest price as a unique selling point, they went bankrupt because they could not keep the promise any longer. During course of time, the profit margins were shrinking, and they could not survive any longer. So don't do that. If you want to say something about price as a unique selling point, then try to do it differently, like the best price quality combination or something like that. But you need to be very careful with that. Safety is the second thing that you should not be communicating as a unique selling point. Some people say we are insured. So what does that mean? All the other companies are not insured. It's very dangerous. Is it very dangerous in Uganda? Or, you know, if you mention safety as a unique selling point, people might start to get a little bit afraid about the destination. So never mention safety as a unique selling point. However, when talking about safety and unique selling points, because of the COVID-19, the debate has changed a little bit. So the USP safety debate, because somehow, you know, we need to communicate to our clients, to our business partners about what is going on in our country in terms of, you know, the whole COVID thing. So COVID is something that you need to communicate about. And some companies like G Adventures, where that I just shared to you, again, they don't mention safety as a unique selling point, but as part of their unique selling points and touching on safety and discover thing, they added as a unique selling point this book and travel with confidence. So actually they're communicating about safety and COVID in their unique selling points, but they do it in a different way. They package it in a very unique, different, positive way, a positive story. And that is also something that you need to think about, because it's very important. So how can you include the whole current state of affairs and add something to your unique selling points, like G Adventures did, for example, to show that when people walk with you, they will be in safe hands. So if we go to the next slide, next one, please. Again, this travel with confidence, that is a unique selling point of G Adventures. All the tourism suppliers, part of the itineraries, they are compliant with the national health and safety protocols, and some also are compliant with the protocols from the World Travel and Tourism Council. So think about how you can play with this as part of your external communication, but also as an element of your or a component of your unique selling point. All right, so we can go to the next slide because we're almost 1 p.m. So I will speed up a little bit. Also, what Simon and I mentioned to you several times, because of the COVID, people also expect more flexibility from your side in terms of terms and conditions, flexible booking terms, more lenient cancellation and refund policies. And this is an example of a tour operator, how they communicate this on their website. So if you go to a travel package, you can click this blue bar, and you will be directed directly towards their more flexible terms and conditions. So also for you think about that. Next slide. So how do you communicate your unique selling points? So Simon and I showed you a couple of examples of other tour operators, how they do it on their webpage, but also think about social media, your brochures, or a company profile that you bring to a trade show. Think about how to include your unique selling points when you're doing an elevator pitch at a trade show to grab the attention of people, or posters, pamphlets that you are using. I also mentioned about some companies that I met in the past that put their unique selling points as 5 short bullet points on the backside of their business cards. Very clever. So how do you communicate your unique selling points? Shout it out to the world. In everything that you do, try to share your unique selling points, because that tells the story. That will tell or explain to the people what makes you different from others. And again, remember this difference that we have there, B2B versus B2C. So communicate your USPs everywhere. They should appear prominently on your website, on your landing page, in every marketing campaign or everything that you do. It's really, really important. People are looking for that. And as I mentioned to you, 81% of European tour operators, even if they never met with you, but they will go to your website to learn about who you are, the people in your company, what your unique selling points are. And also the consumer, again, he or she will be looking for that. Also visualize things. Look, when you receive the slides, look at these great examples that Simon shared with you during the session too. Because nowadays, you know, people also don't like to read. Everything has to be short and sweet and concise. So short text, bullet points, short explanatory notes that come along with each USP, and using icons, using pictures. That is how you can communicate your unique selling points. So thank you very much. That was everything from my side. Simon, if you would like to add to that, then please be my guest. I also shared with you the slides, Simon, so please upload everything into the chat box so the people have all the slides.
Yeah, we'll do.
So are there any questions?
There was a good one earlier, Marlon, from Jack, and he asked, you know, it's possible that a lot of the Ugandan websites are looking the same with featuring photos of gorillas. So how do they set their websites to look uniquely different? What are the primary actions that you would advise them on so that they're not all looking the same?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends how you run your tours. I mean, I think maybe 99% of you offer the gorilla tracking tools, things like that. But it's about how you do things. So also here and next week, I'm sure that Simon will tackle that. Is how you run your programs in a sustainable way. You know, when you go on trekking and go see the gorillas. Are you working with local guides? What do you do to make sure that the guests do not, destroy things or litter around? The guide might have a bag with him where litter is collected and bring back down the mountain, and then etc. So it's all about how do you run your tours and make it different, more special? On top of this gorilla trek that you do, is there any other special thing that you included into the itinerary, like when you travel from, I don't know, Kampala to the site where you will run this gorilla trek? On the way, are there any special things that you can add to make the tour really unique by visiting, I don't know, a local market, talk with some people at the market to learn about the fruits or vegetables, things like that? One thing, for example, and that is what I did with another company that was offering photograph tours. So they also went up on the mountains to see flora and fauna. And one of the unique selling points is that they communicated was something like, where others turn right, we turn left. We go to a different spot because when we will go there, the view will be much, much better. The light will be better. It's a place where you will see the animals in a much better way. So it's a difference. Where others turn left, we turn right, because we work with the local guides that really know the best places in the forest where you can spot the birds, for example, in the best way. The light is perfect, so your pictures will be the best, will be world class. I mean, that is how you that is how you are different and more unique. Does that answer your question? If not, let me know. If yes, no.
Just some comments in the chat box, Marlon.
Yeah. I don't know, how, but I think that is something that Simon and I also mentioned briefly last week, or I think Anne also touched on that, is what you see in Europe during the past decade, that the animal welfare movement is really getting strong. And it might be something that you, Simon, will talk more about next week. Yeah. But European tour operators are very sensitive to animal welfare. And a couple of years ago, the whole debate was about these elephant rides. So, you know, people going up the elephant and do a ride somewhere in Asia, or it could be Africa as well. And more European tour operators, based on scientific research, they banned these elephant rides. They don't want to offer it. They don't want to sell it anymore. Because as you might know, these elephants, to do these rides, they are trained in a horrible way. So they said, we don't do that anymore. Some European tour operators, they do no quads, these four-wheel vehicles. So, but coming back to animal welfare, again, I have never visited Uganda, so I don't know how you operate your gorilla treks exactly. But one of the things where you can be different is that upon arrival or before starting the gorilla trek, that your local guides, share that you have like a welcoming meeting where you share like a code of conduct with your guests. What are the do's and don'ts when you walk up the mountain and have this meet with the gorillas. What are the do's and don'ts? I don't know if you do that already. I can assume that some of you do it, but it's another way. You know, you can tell your people, we are very sensitive to the animals. We want to protect our gorillas. We we do everything to minimize that we disturb them. So before our trek, we have a meeting where we will share with you our code of conduct. I mean, it's just another way of being different.
If I think can I add to that, Marlon?
Yes, sure.
Yes. I think most of you already do it because it's needed for this gorilla tracking. The thing is, you have to communicate it. You have to communicate these briefings to your clients, and you have to communicate it also on your website, that you go the extra mile and that you have a total sustainability package. So yeah. Communication is key.
Absolutely. And some professional tour operators, I guess also G Adventures, for example, that I showed to you, or Exo Travel, on their website, most of the times they also have sustainability as a separate item in their main navigation bar. And in some cases, when you click sustainability, you can also find their code of conduct. So when you go on this trip, this is the code of conduct. Some tour operators that I know, they are very much into diving, and they put on their website, under sustainability, a diving code of conduct. Don't touch the corals, don't feed the fish, etc. As Jeanette mentioned, it's all about communication, you know, and it shows your professionalism. It shows that you want to be different and do good. So I don't know if you have like national code of conduct in Uganda with criteria in it, or maybe you have code of conducts that you are using and that are from international. Also the consumers, they are sensitive to these kind of things. And if you communicate this code of conduct, it makes you different, makes you special. That you really try to, as Anna mentioned last week, minimize the negative impacts and maximize the positive impacts, because that is what sustainability is all about.
So it's a really good kind of lead into to next week's session as well, Marlon. So we'll be covering sustainability as the main session for next week. And linking back to that original question, some of the things we will be covering are things like your link to conservation initiatives, to community outreach projects, all of your sustainability angles. And those are very much linked to this conversation, things you can talk about and things you can communicate about to stand out from your competitors. So there'll be lots of good tips and tricks coming out of next week's session. Focusing primarily on sustainability that'll help with differentiating yourself from everyone else.
All right, good. So any other questions, let us know, then we can still reply to that. Otherwise, we will finish the session. It's already 8 minutes past 1, I see. So a bit of delay. I'm sorry for the technical issues today. So I apologize again. We will do everything to make sure that it won't happen again, although sometimes I cannot influence everything. As I mentioned, there was some issues here in the neighborhood that I don't know. I'm using my cell phone now, so now we managed to well. I mean, from my side, I shared everything what I wanted to share with you. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy too. Simon, I think you also shared everything that you wanted to share. So, so yeah, everything has been put on the table for you. So in the end, we managed. So
if you allow me the last word, Marlon.
Yeah.
A few last words. One of them to UTA and Otto. the partners for this series, for inviting all of you and arranging for the Zoom links. The technical staff of UTA and Otto behind the scenes and behind the screens. There have been a number of questions about the link for registration. I think it's the same link you used for the first series. So you can fill it in again. And I will also check with our people behind the screens on that. And also on the issue of recording, there were a few questions about that. I will check with UTA Auto where the recording is available and what's the easiest way to make it fully available to all of you. Most importantly, special thank you to Marlon and Simon. Looking forward to seeing you again on screen, Simon, next week together with Anne. A lot of USP today, USP all over the place. It's the most important thing. So thank you for all your practical examples, Simon and Marlon, for your sharing all of your experiences with the people in Uganda. And looking forward to all of the participants next week.
All right, thank you, Jeanette. And Simon, did you upload the slides into the chat box? Because
yeah, they've both been uploaded. So there's PDF copies of the session 1 and session 2 now in the chat box. Uploaded just before 1 o'clock. So the participants can find them there and download them.
All right. So, and again, if you haven't signed up for our next masterclass sessions, then please do so. And really looking forward to see all of you again. So next week, the 29th of September, it's about sustainability, corporate social responsibility by Simon and Anne, and I will also join. So thank you very much for your time.
Yes,
and
please register. If you please just register again. I'm not sure if it's needed. There's some questions about it, but just register again, because then you're sure that the link will be easily forwarded to you.
All right. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.